Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Red Raptor Writes, where today I finally get to talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Man, I've been waiting on this one for so many years. I don't know when you guys at home got into the series, but I've been here since the very start. From the moment the original Five Nights at Freddy's dropped, I've been playing, watching, and lore diving along with millions of others. Games, books, and theories have come and gone, but now we actually have our hands on a theatrical film. Gosh, I remember being in high school looking for updates on the project, only to be slapped with news of delays. All this time later, how does the FNAF movie hold up? It's complicated. First off, let me briefly summarize the main story here just for some context. No spoilers, of course. Our story is centered around a young man, played by Josh Hutcherson, accurately named Mike Schmidt, the smelly night guard you control in the first game. Mike is in the middle of a custody battle for his younger sister. That, alongside a tragic backstory, push him to accept his job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. With the help of an officer named Vanessa, wink wink, he seeks to uncover the secrets of the restaurant and his own past. I feel as though your enjoyment of this movie depends on what you're looking for going in. Blaming fans and their expectations is often used as a lazy excuse by floundering studios as to why their films weren't well received. It's usually a garbage excuse, but here, with enough competing fan expectations, it might be tough to find a balance that leaves everyone satisfied. For the fans who want an intense horror movie that leaves them on the edge of their seat, Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't really provide. Sure, there are some tense moments and a few scary bits, but as a whole, not much. It comes across as more of a mystery rather than a horror. If you're looking for a deep and accurate dive into the, at this point, overwhelming lore, you ain't getting that either. If you like all the newer sci-fi stuff about death traps made in a bunker to capture Remnant, well, you're out of luck too. My advice is to go in with an open mind. Although certain video games can be easily translated to the big screen or streaming like some linear story-based games, this one is going to take lots of compromises if it wants to fit into a film. Different mediums have different requirements, obviously. You can't flip-flop between them without serious alterations, which is why I get annoyed when people complain about them not being as accurate to the comics or books. It's an adaptation. You need to adapt. FNAF is able to mostly capture the essence of the source material while making some necessary additions. The name alone makes it hard to translate onto the screen. Who would want to spend 5 nights suffering through the Toreador March?
Czy to Freddy Fazbear?
The obvious answer is to have a protagonist who's hurting for money, needs to clean himself up, and take care of someone he loves. In terms of basic setup, FNAF nails it. Yeah, different than the established canon, but perfect for a film, getting us invested in the characters. If you're a big fan of the series, there are some tasteful references, Easter eggs, and fan favorite moments for us to cheer at, but are manipulated to make sense within the context of the story being told. I will say, there was a big missed opportunity that should have been an easy slam dunk. You know how in the Mario movie, we got to see him doing the training courses, racing down Rainbow Road, and having moments of platforming fun? It's Mario. You expect Mario to be doing Mario things. That never happens here. Although there are hints of it here and there, we never get to the point where Mike is trapped in the office, using the doors and cameras to fend off against the animatronics. You know, the basic gameplay loop for most installments. Most of the time spent in the office is Mike sleeping. Then most of the attacks in the office are done via his dreams, so we never get that cathartic moment of him playing Five Nights at Freddy's, so to speak. Going back to those expectations, I didn't have many. Obviously, the film would take place in the first game's location, with the first game's animatronics. I knew I wanted movies based on the original trilogy, that eventually I wanted my favorite villain Springtrap, and that at some point, Freddy's gotta play the Toreador March. Bonus points if it's sung by an Indian guy. I can't confirm or deny whether all these things happen, but it would be cool to see. Instead, I had more ideas of what not to do. No sister location sci-fi futuristic horror, No remnant harvesting nonsense. No deep dive into the family of the once elusive purple guy.
What the lore? The lore, guys, the lore! The lore!
No, it was all just a video game or all just a dream. No Afton virus crap. Give me the good stuff from the OGs. As far as interpretations go, I wasn't blown away, but satisfied with what I got. On paper, it was a great FNAF film. But in execution, a few areas could have been improved. Okay, I guess at this point we should go back to the main story. Although I think giving Mike some backstory and reason for staying at Freddy's is a necessity, it didn't feel like checking off the boxes. Gotta be honest, I actually found myself invested in solving his mystery, along with the relationship between him and Abby. Mike's character arc felt pretty cookie cutter, though still enough to keep me invested. And although the film relies heavily on child actors, everyone did well in my mind. The base for a solid film is here, so I have to say that it's at least decent, competent. Each of the classic animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy, are well translated to the screen, even if Bonnie is the wrong color. They're each menacing for the first half.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
During the second act, we see a scene that, no spoilers, immediately robs them of any fear factor in what is easily the worst scene in the movie. My overall enjoyment wasn't shattered, but I wouldn't be surprised if this went down as one of those infamous scenes in film history due to its complete tonal whiplash, being so goofy in an otherwise straightly told release.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Not that I hate Spider-Man 3 by any means, but this film's equivalent to The Street Dance. FNAF worked best in that kind of awkward humor when there's clearly a mortal threat, but it's brushed off as
barely an inconvenience.
Once meme humor started being embraced, it lost me. Another problem I have is with some of the dialogue. Some moments get very exposition heavy, as if the visual storytelling wasn't enough for audiences. So, at times, I felt talked down to. There can easily be a cut that shaves this and the unspoiled worst scene out. My last gripe is how there are logical gaps in several places. Not to bring facts and logic into a blockbuster about haunted pizzeria animatronics, but on several occasions, something extreme will happen only for it to be brushed aside. Like, real-world authorities will have many questions to ask, but no, we just have to look past them and forget these things happened. Something major occurs, and then everyone ignores it. Yes, a Hollywood movie doesn't need to be purely logical, but it starts to become world-breaking. Alright, those are my thoughts, so let's close out this review. As a day one fan, walking out of the theater was satisfying. While my mind wasn't blown with awesomeness due to a decent list of criticisms, I'm happy I saw it. Was it worth the long wait? Maybe not that long a wait, though I feel as if I would rather live in a world where this title exists than one where it doesn't. The faults were distracting sometimes, but not enough to ruin my enjoyment. This may vary from person to person. I can see why some fans or critics would dislike it. It may not be the Freddy's movie you wanted, on top of some already cringe moments. But I, for one, had a fun time. Last weekend was the first time in years that I enjoyed a new entry in the franchise. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to please leave a like, subscribe, and to check out my social media. See you next time.